Hello and welcome to today's video. We are talking about the nodal shift that happened in January. The north node switched into Pisces in January, where it will stay until July of 2026. So depending on when you're watching this, you may already be feeling this. So the nodes is such an important part of astrology, and I love working with the nodes. But first, let me introduce myself. My name is Misty, and I have been a health and life coach for women since 2015. And as I went on my journey of finding balance and tapping into my purpose, I stumbled upon astrology in around 2016, 2017. And it made such profound shifts in my life. It made me to the point where a lot of things just started making sense. A lot of things started clicking. And I started to really step into more of who I am. And I ended up getting certified in life path astrology in 2020. I'm able to take my clients a little bit deeper into who they are and what they came here to do and how to get themselves into alignment with their true purpose. So the way I work with the nodes is the north node and the south node can reveal part of your karma, part of your gifts that you came into this life with, as well as your purpose. So the south node is the point of release. It is gifts that you came here in this lifetime with. So these are natural gifts. No one had to teach you. You just inherently knew. And the north node is a point of your destiny. So we're going to talk more about this. But the south node, it is a point of your comfort zone. It's something that you do so well, you maybe don't even know you do it. Like you have skills in this area that you don't even recognize that no one else can do it quite like you. And the north node is a point of your destiny. So we're not meant to stay in our comfort zone. We're not meant to stay in everything that we know. We are here to grow and evolve. And so in this lifetime, you're being asked to go in the opposite direction, which is in your north node. Now, the south node and the north node, they're always in opposite signs. So if you have your south node in Capricorn, your north node will be in Cancer. And if you have your south node in Aries, your north node will be in Libra. They're always opposites. We also not only want to look to the sign they're in, but also to the house. And when it comes to the nodes, sometimes the house is even more important than the sign. Now, the nodes stay in one sign for 18 months. So the people you graduated with, they likely all had the same north node, south node combination as you because you're all born around the same time. And this is why the house placement is really, really important. Now, to get your house placement, you want to run a free natal birth chart. You specifically want to pay attention to your rising sign because your rising sign is what sets up the house placement and how your chart is aligned. So to get to your rising sign, you must know your birth date, your place of birth, and the time you were born. The time is really important for the rising sign. Now, I'm happy to go more in depth with the nodes in another video, but today we're specifically talking about the nodal shift that happened in January, where the north node moved into Pisces and the south node moved into Virgo. So collectively, we're all feeling this and we're all going through a transition. Now, the nodes, like I said before, they change signs every 18 months. So this is our story, and this is what we're going through over the next 18 months. These are the lessons we are learning. This is the direction we're going and the things we need to let go of over the next 18 months. Now, the South Node is in Virgo, and the South Node, again, is a point of your comfort zone, but you can't stay in your comfort zone. And when we look to the South Node, we can keep the good qualities of the South Node, but we need to release the shadow sides. And so for that, we want to look to the shadow side of Virgo. Now, Virgo energy is an earth sign. It is very grounded. It's very good with the details. It is a mutable sign, so it is not so fixated. It's able to adapt pretty easily. Now, Virgo can be a sign of like the producer. They're very much, they prefer to be kind of behind the scenes, and they're the person who's like making sure the I's are dotted, the T's are crossed. I think of Virgo as like a banker or a accountant, because they are so good with the details. They can read between the lines, and they're good at picking up things that other people miss. The shadow side of Virgo, though, is they can be a little bit overly critical. They can be a perfectionist. They can be very judgmental. One thing about Virgo is they like a good plan. Actually, Virgo doesn't do anything without a plan. They're very risk averse. So they don't do anything without understanding what is the risk and how to minimize that risk. So they're all about the plan, and they know in what direction they're going. They know what order things need to happen in. And so this is over the next 18 months, you may experience where things are just not really going according to your plan. We may need to loosen up the grip on our plans a little bit, and we are moving in the direction of Pisces. And so Pisces is the opposite of Virgo, where Virgo is down all about the details and they're all about the plan, whereas Pisces more go with the flow. Pisces is a water sign. They're very intuitive. They're very mystical, psychic. They're highly creative. You will notice a lot of artists have a lot of Pisces energy. They're able to just go with the flow and be in their heart space, and the music just like comes to them, right? Now, Pisces is also a mutable sign, so they are very adaptable. And if we think about the Pisces, it's represented by the fish. And if we think about the fish lives in the ocean, and the ocean has no bounds. It's no boundaries. There's no walls in the ocean. Like, a fish can just go wherever it wants to go. So over the next 18 months, we are being asked to release control, release the plan, and be willing to go with the flow. Be willing to allow things to happen, even if it's happening in a different way than you originally planned. Now, I originally posted a similar video to this on TikTok, and a lot of people had questions around, what if my North Node is in Pisces? And that is what's called a nodal return. And this only happens every 18 years. And I'm going to go into another video, create another video around what it means if you're in your nodal return, as well as I'll talk about the nodal squares and the nodal oppositions. So let me know in the comments if you have your North Node in Pisces and or if you have your North Node in Virgo, because that means you are going through a nodal opposition. But for today, we're going to go through the houses based on your rising sign on where you may experience this shift in your life, where you're going to have the biggest significance of this North Node in Pisces. Now, I talked about the houses briefly, and it's based on your rising sign. So just like there are 12 zodiac signs, there are also 12 houses, and each house represents a different area of your life. And so we're going to go through all 12 houses on where the North Node is possibly for you, as well as the South Node. Now, if you are a Pisces rising, then this Pisces North Node is happening in your first house. And the Virgo South Node is happening in your 7th house. So you may have to let go of particular relationships. The 7th house is all about committed relationships, marriages. So if you are a Pisces North Node, you may have to release control around your relationship. I'm not saying your relationship is going to end, but it may shift, and you may have to just let go around control, perfectionism when it comes to relationships. And the North Node is in your first house, and this is all about the self. You may be going through a glow up. You may be just looking at, who am I? You may be going through some identity work and understanding yourself on a deeper level. And the first house also represents the body. So you may be, just going to the gym more often. You may be changing up your style and your aesthetic. If you are an Aries rising, this North Node is happening in your 12th house, and the South Node is happening in your 6th house. So you may need to release control and give up some sort of perfectionism around your work or your domestic duties. Know that you can't do it all, and you can't do it all perfectly, and you don't need to. Now, the 6th house has to do with your day-to-day rituals, the work you do on a daily basis. So this could be if you go to a job, yes. It also could be if you're a stay-at-home mom, like your daily duties. And the North Node is happening in your 12th house. So you may be exploring your spirituality. You may be exploring mental health things. If you are an Aries rising, I want you to pay attention to your dreams right now. I mean, all of us could pay attention more to our dreams because Pisces does rule the dreams, but especially if you have this in your 12th house, you may just get prolific dreams, things will start coming to you through your dreams. If you are a Taurus rising, the Pisces North Node is happening in your 11th house, and the Virgo South Node is in your 5th house. So the 5th house represents romance, dating, creative projects, hobbies, and children. So you may need to let go of an old hobby. You may need to let go of a particular romantic partner. You may need to release control around, something to do with your children, especially if you have adult children. And this Pisces North Node is happening in your 11th house. So you may be needing to go with the flow when it comes to your social organizations, your goals, your dreams. The 11th house has to do with friends, but more like acquaintances. So you may feel called to join new professional organizations. You may be called to get out more, to explore and just make new friends. If you're a Gemini rising, the North Node is happening in your 10th house, and the Virgo South Node is in your 4th house. So the 4th house has to do with home and family. And so you may be needing to release control or perfectionism around something when it comes to your home. You may actually feel like you need to move at this time. Your home may just not be filling your cup anymore. You may need to release family members at this time. Certain family members that maybe you're just not seeing eye to eye, and you need to release this relationship. And the North Node in Pisces is happening in your 10th house. So your 10th house has to do with your career or your reputation, status. So you may feel called to change careers. You may feel called to go deeper into career, getting a certification when it comes to your career. If you are a Cancer rising, the North Node is transiting your 9th house and the South Node is transiting your 3rd house. So the 3rd house has to do with siblings, domestic travel, technology. It also has to do with our mind and how we think about things. So you may be needing to release something around your an old outdated mindset. How you think about things. You may come up with conflicts around sibling relationships that you need to let go of. And the Pisces North Node in your 9th house is all about foreign culture, foreign travel, higher level learning. So you may feel called to travel abroad. You may feel called to expand your knowledge in some way, going back to school, getting a certification. It also has to do with publication. So if you are an artist, getting yourself out there, writing a book, getting it published, this is a great time for that. If you are a Leo rising, the North Node is transiting your 8th house and the South Node is transiting your 2nd house. So with the South Node in Virgo transiting your 2nd house, you may lose an income stream. You may need to switch jobs. You may find the 2nd house has to do with resources as well as money, property. So this may be a good time to sell a property, get rid of some real estate that you've been holding on to. With the North Node transiting your 8th house, you may feel called to invest more in the stock market. The 8th house has to do with shared resources. So while the 2nd house is money you make, the 8th house is money that is made on a collective level, like maybe in a partnership or affiliate marketing, stocks, bonds, taxes. You may get a surprise tax bill or maybe tax refund that you weren't expecting. If you are a Virgo rising, the North Node is happening in your 7th house and the South Node is happening in your 1st house. With the South Node transiting your 1st house, you may need to release or let go some part of your identity. You may need to really look at who you are and release something that you've been holding on to. With the Pisces North Node transiting your 7th house, you can expect easier times in your committed relationships. So if you're married, you may just find going with the flow and exploring new ways of communicating. The 7th house is not only marriage and committed relationships, it also has to do with contracts. So any kind of business relationships can also fall here. So you may just find yourself with a new business partner or some kind of proposal. If you are a Scorpio rising, the North Node is happening in your 5th house and the South Node is happening in your 11th house. So with the Virgo South Node transiting the 11th house, you may need to release or let go of certain friend groups, certain goals, dreams that you once had that are just no longer in alignment. And with the North Node in Pisces transiting your 5th house, you may feel called to start a new hobby, start a new creative project. You may also find new romance. This is also a high time of fertility. So if you are of a childbearing year, you may find yourself pregnant. And if you do not want to be pregnant, then make sure to protect yourself because this will be a very fertile time. If you are a Sagittarius rising, the North Node is happening in your 4th house, while the South Node is happening in your 10th. So with the South Node in your 10th, this has to do with your career, status, or some kind of reputation. So you may be switching jobs. You may feel like the career you chose is no longer what you want. You may need to release some sort of reputation that you've created for yourself that no longer aligns. With the North Node transiting the 4th house, this has to do with your roots, family, home, but also putting roots down. So you may feel called to really dive deep into your genealogy, exploring your family dynamics. You may be starting a family, you may be buying a home, something that has to do with putting roots down. If you are a Capricorn rising, this is happening. The North Node is in your 3rd house, the South Node is in your 9th house. So you may need to let go of something having to do with foreign culture, a philosophy, a particular way of thinking. You may need to release particular religion or spiritual practices. And with the North Node in Pisces transiting your 3rd house, you may be learning to go with the flow with, a different way of thinking, with your sibling relationships, or maybe just getting out, learning new things. If you are an Aquarius rising, the North Node is transiting your 2nd house and the South Node is transiting your 8th house. So you may feel like you need to let go of something like a business partnership. The 8th house is other people's resources. So this could be taxes. This could be real estate. This could be things that you own like with someone else, like, a business, if you have a business partner. With the North Node transiting your 2nd house, you may feel called to work yourself in a different way, creating a new income stream, going with the flow with how you make your money. If you love this and you want to know more, I would love to know your comments below. Let me know where you have this South Node, North Node transiting your chart, as well as I do have an upcoming workshop coming up all about getting aligned to thrive in 2025, where we look to this moon and the stars, and month by month we go through and identify what are the big themes in coming up in your year of 2025 according to your natal birth chart. So I will leave the link below and you can join the waitlist.